Hello, and welcome to Tales from the Backlog. My name is Steve Boshear, and I will be your rabble-rouser for the evening. If you don't know this channel, we are a tabletop role-playing stream channel. We have this stream on Monday nights where we try out lots of different games with a rotating cast of players. Tonight we'll be playing EZD6, more on that later. And then also on Fridays, we have, a ongoing D&D campaign. However, that's about to stop being true. We are finishing up that campaign, and we are going to be live streaming it not on a Friday but on a Sunday. This coming Sunday, September 4th, we will be streaming episodes 99 and 100 of Shadows of Arconia, and that will be our finale. That's about a 3-year campaign. Players are now at level 20. And we are going to wrap that up. We'll take a few months off, and me and that crew may play some other games in the interim before returning with a second Shadows of Arconia campaign. But for tonight, none of that matters because we're playing EZD6. So this is a game by our good friend Scotty McFarlane. If you don't know Scotty, what's with you? Go check out YouTube. His original YouTube channel, the DM Craft, more or less kicked off the tabletop crafters movement on YouTube. There's a whole plethora of channels now, and they all call Scotty the Craft Father. He's also involved with Quest Givers, which is a collaboration between himself and the DMG. It's a whole other YouTube channel you can check out. Check out the Tabletop Crafters Guild, which owes its existence largely to Scotty. And of course, this very game, EZD6, which launched month before last, I think. And shot up to the top of the bestseller list over on DriveThruRPG very quickly. And we, of course, here on this stream had the honor of being part of a late-stage playtest back when this game was still called Hack/Boom. You can check that out in our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Shadows of Arconia. You can find it back there, where Scotty came in and did a guest spot here and ran this game for us. Sarah was in that, and Mia was in that. Jason was not. I was a player for that one. Tonight, Scotty could not be with us. He wanted to, couldn't make it, so I put his little face up there over next to Mia so we can pretend that he's sitting there in that little window. But instead of that, we have 3 players and not 4, so why don't we go around and have you 3 introduce yourselves and your characters, and then I'll talk some more.
Guess that's Mia. My cue.
That's your cue, Mia.
That's me. Okay.
Okay, as we go clockwise. Hi, my name is Mia. I will be playing Firma Tirdar. She is an elven skald. Couple of bonuses here. She's got inclinations in bow or ranged combat, and as a dandy, which gives her boons and social checks, and so on and so forth. Again, lore master, civ. Anyway, elvish skald, kind of a bardish type that can cast spells from scrolls, and that's about all I got. Thanks.
All right.
Am I up next?
That is you.
Okay, yeah, I'm Jason. Hi, I'm here every now and again. I'm playing Gurgles at Baubles. I'm a crow person, Beastmaster, and I like to kick around with my good friend Hissing Fluff, a Deinonychus that I raised from a young chick. And I like getting into trouble, getting out of trouble, and stealing shiny things.
Nice. All right, and then I guess it's me. I'm Sarah, and tonight I am playing Tall Kate, the halfling. See, it's funny because she's tall for a halfling.
That's right.
Or is she? everybody kind of looks the same height when you're taller than a halfling. Kate is really like, her passion is really for acrobats. She's a street acrobat, but what she really is a rascal, which is of course the EZD6 version of a rogue. Her inclinations are treasure sense and sneaky. In addition to being street acrobat and juggler, her other aspect is she has friends in low places. Does that mean other rascals? Does that just mean halflings, who are of course short? We'll find out. We'll find out what that means. She also likes to, she wields a good dagger. Dagger is very useful. You can use it for juggling, you can use it for throwing, you can use it for stabbing. I mean, glue it on any other weapon. And that's Tall Kate.
Okay. For those following along at home, our crow person, Gurgles at Bobbles, is playing with the goblin description from the book. Also, hi, Diab Scotty. He's in the chat now.
Hi!
Yes.
Now the pressure's on.
Yeah. So if you're not familiar with EZD6, it is what the name implies. It is a tabletop role-playing game designed to be easy and to use primarily the D6. So I've had the paperback version of the cover displayed on the screen there for a few minutes. This is the hardcover. Yep, we're doing that thing that we do every week when I try to show the book. There we go. Anyway, it looks different. I've got some of the art on a little rotator up in the corner, so you can see the different versions of the book cover. If you watch the whole stream, they'll go by. So yeah, this is a very quick game. Scotty has repeatedly pitched this as a game where all you have to do is build a character, and then your rabble rouser can tell you the rules in 5 minutes. I think I can do better than that. Sarah, I believe, did not read the rules because I told her not to.
I've played before.
You did play before, but
no, I have not spent a great deal of time on the rules.
Yes. You roll a d6 for everything. You try to hit a target number. 1s are crit fails. 6s are crit successes, just like any other, just like a lot of other dice games. If you have a bonus to something, you roll 2 and take the higher. If you have a, I forget what they're even called, a bane, boons and banes, not buffs and debuffs, but boons and banes. And a bane is you roll an extra one, take the lower. So pretty straightforward. Everything else comes down to role play, basically. If you look at the stats for your races and classes, or your species and hero paths, there really aren't any numbers on them other than the health. And you've got mostly sentences about your character's story. And so everything comes from the role play. And that's what we're going to be doing. There aren't even hit points in this game. If you either hit or you don't. So all of that leading into this, I am running an adventure tonight adapted from a game with pretty much the exact opposite design philosophy. Mia has played this adventure before. You will notice the cover I've just put on screen says Dungeon Crawl Classics on it, which is a game we played a few weeks ago. But I've adapted this adventure for EZD6. It'll be interesting to see how it plays here because we ran it as a 0-level funnel in Dungeon Crawl Classics last year. It's another one you can go watch in our backlog. And we lost 18 player characters. Out of 16 that we started with, 18 died. 0 surviving. 0 player characters survived through the funnel. In that game, there's a 0-level funnel. You don't get a level until you complete something. Everybody
Press
died.
F. Press F to pay respects.
Yep. Although, side note, off stream, Funnel Graveyard, says Scotty. That's right. Off stream, Sarah and I are in a game with the one player from that other Dungeon Crawl Classics game whose character didn't survive but made it to the end and technically completed the mission. And we are in a D&D game with him, and his character in D&D also died. and through a series of resurrections, I basically tied it together and brought him back as Sargento, the character from Dungeon Crawl Classics. Long story. Tell you another time. Anyway, so this adventure, as you just saw from the art there, is called Hole in the Sky. Here's some art from EZD6. That'll be fun to look at. And I have some things to tell you guys about your characters as we're starting. None of you know each other. You are all out doing whatever things it is that you individually do with your lives. But you've all had an overwhelming sense of malaise isn't the right word, but just kind of wrongness. Sort of Neo in the Matrix style, knowing that things aren't the way they're supposed to be. You've always had this growing feeling your whole lives that something's just off. You were robbed and you don't even know what you were robbed of. And you start to have dreams. Dreams of an alluring woman dressed in blue finery, her face shrouded by shadows. And she confirms what you've believed your whole lives, that your true destiny has been snatched away by some sinister force. In her ghostly tapestry of indistinct voices, you hear her say in your dreams, "Become my ally, and your enemies shall become my enemies, and together we shall take back the life that was promised to you by the stars. Come and find me at the cliff." So as these dreams continue, each of you becomes more and more detached from your lives. You start to ignore your work or whatever tasks you normally get up to. Eventually, the dreams become a mandate, and you, under near compulsion, leave home and follow the visions of your dreams, hoping to discover a mysterious cliff where you have seen this woman standing. You travel as if in a fever dream, staggering dazedly forward along your path, dictated by strange omens. You somehow arrive unmolested, perhaps the madness upon your countenances frightening away any bandits who would otherwise molest you along the road. But at long last, you arrive, exhausted and confused, at this cliff overlooking the ocean. The scene here is exactly as it appeared in your dreams, and you are suddenly grateful, as this must mean that you are not insane. There, at the edge of the cliff, is the woman who haunted your dreams for months, standing behind a long table incongruously set for a banquet here in this wild place. The woman is nearly 7 feet tall, wearing finery, as she was in your dreams, but now tattered. It's of the deepest blue, and you see for the first time her face. Somehow, her head is that of a statue of a woman. Her features are inanimate and softened as if rain and wind had eroded the statue head over time. In her left hand, she holds 2 severed human heads by the hair. That's her. In her In her right hand, she holds 3 severed human heads by the hair. As you approach, she holds all 5 of them up as if to greet you with their dead faces. Then those dead eyes open and the 5 heads speak to you in unison, each in their own voice. Welcome, brave friends. I know you have many questions, but let them wait for now. You must be exhausted from your journey. Sit, eat, and rest. All of your questions shall be answered this day. And you all, actually, as they're speaking, you notice that one of them, one of the heads with like pale skin, as though he is from another land, actually speaks in a foreign tongue as the others speak in your language. So there's a feast laid out before you: bread, cheese, vegetables, meat, and you guys have been invited to sit and eat.
So all 3 of us are here together?
Yes, you've all arrived here together. You
Okay.
did not come from the same place, but you've arrived together now.
I am curious that there are 2 others. I am surprised. I am glad to know that I am not crazy.
Well, let's not rule out anything too soon. I could be a figment of your imagination.
That is true. All of this seems like a dream.
I do a backflip. Just
Gurgles
relax.
approaches the banquet table and pokes at the food with a small feathered finger.
Of every 10 dishes that you see here, 8 are fresh and delicious. 2 are visibly rotted or otherwise despoiled. There's a plate of mutton crawling with maggots. There's a bowl of berries covered in fungus. But like I said, that's 2 out of every 10. The rest of them look fine.
Is there any possibility I could recognize this woman from like lore or bardic songs of the past?
There is a possibility. Why don't you roll for that? We'll set difficulty 3.
I have a 4 and a 6 on the die.
All right. Well, you've heard of the Lady in Blue, or the Woman in Blue, and you know that she is someone who appears to people from time to time, offering or promising great gifts in exchange for services or favors. What you have heard of her is almost like a fairy type creature. You don't have any context to judge whether she is good or evil, or who or what she serves, if anything, but she does appear in lore in fairy tales. She promises people things. Sometimes they get them. In other stories, they don't. You don't know anything else about her, not even her name, other than the Woman in Blue.
Madam, you have brought us here. I feel as if my life has been wasted. You have brought us here. What do you ask of us?
Eat first, and then we will discuss, when you have all had your fill.
I'm going to sit as far from the foul food as I can.
Okay.
I am going to attempt to sleight of hand. I'm going to pick up a berry and make it look like I ate it and just palm it.
Okay. A fresh berry or a rotten one?
A fresh one.
Okay. Yeah, you successfully do that. You don't have to roll for that.
Okay. I'm not that hungry.
Is anyone
you.
going to eat?
Is there so? What kind of meat's on this table?
You see some venison. You see some beef. You see some mutton, as I mentioned, that's rotten. But there's other mutton that looks okay.
Anything like on a bone?
Yeah, the mutton's like on a big joint. Yeah.
Yeah, Gurgles will pick up one of the mutton joints and toss it to Hissing Fluff.
Oh yes, hissing fluff. What is hissing fluff?
Hissing Fluff is my Deinonychus.
Deinonychus. Yeah, I don't think we mentioned that earlier.
I did.
Okay, I didn't hear it, but yes. Okay, hissing fluff devours it.
And I'll look, and Gurgles will look for just, honestly, is there anything really shiny on this table?
Some of the plates are of silver.
Like, how big are they?
Plate-sized? I mean, like, are some of them platters? Yeah, one or two of the platters are of silver, but the other silver things that you see are just regular dinner plate-sized.
Hmm. Those sound kind of big. Yeah, I mean, Gurgles will just kind of eat whatever. He'll probably try to avoid the rotten-looking food, but like he's not. I mean, he's not super picky.
Okay. Kate is watching this in fascination.
Firma, are you eating?
Reluctantly, yes. I am famished from the travels here. I look at Kate and I'm like, how can you resist the food? It has been days. I have been wandering to find my way here. With no time to stop to eat, how are you not hungry?
Well, there's that loud roaring sound again.
Give it a sec. Is it still roaring?
It's fading away.
It's fading.
Let me know if it's bad, because it's my fan. It's just
okay.
It's warm out here.
Is it possible that the fan is blowing directly onto a microphone?
Probably not.
Okay. It sounded like that at first a little bit.
I turned it on like an idiot, so it didn't just go straight to low. It was like high, medium, okay, now low.
Copy that. No, it's not too bad. Okay. In fact, I have a filter on the outgoing audio, so it may not even be audible to others watching the stream. I don't know. Anyway, so Firma and Gurgles, the elf and the crow person, are eating. The halfling is palming a single berry. Kate, these two eating their fill, are you going to cave to peer pressure, or are you going to stay hungry?
I will look for some sort of... I'm going to watch them. Just give them like a few minutes to see if anything happens. And if it doesn't, I'm going to pick up like a bread roll or something that seems pretty solid and gingerly take a bite.
Nothing happens to them. You take your bread roll. It's delicious.
And then we all
still don't trust it.
Right.
No. Kaboom! No. No,
what
you're fine. It's just food.
Bread.
Who? I would ask, who are my fellow diners? My name is Firma.
Tall Kate. Yo. What's up?
Firma, by far the tallest one here.
Yeah.
Well,
Gonna raise an
not
eyebrow
on
and go
paper.
tall.
Not on
Tall.
paper.
Gurgles,
Yes, I'm aware that
gurgles.
makes no sense. That's still what Tall Kate says. Am I coming through okay? I keep, like, my image keeps freezing for a few seconds at a time, like every few seconds. Trying to figure out.
I haven't
Seems
noticed.
All
fine
right.
on my end, yeah.
Cool then. Okay. Yep. I point to our friend the goblin with, and I beg your pardon, what did you say he was called?
He's not a goblin.
Gurgles.
He's a crow.
Yeah.
Ah, sorry, crow. I point
Yeah,
to
I'm-
the crow. Phew.
He gurgles.
That's his name.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think we were, yes. Kate says, okay. He doesn't make that much noise. He sounds fine.
Okay.
Anything? Nothing?
Do you not speak like common tongue, or is he just gurgling at us?
Oh, I'm just being kind of silly, and
Oh, no, I understand.
that's
Sarah understands. Tall Kate does not. So.
yeah. Gurgles at Baubles is kind of an out, like he's kind of an just outside of civilization sort of person who likes hanging out in civilization because there's lots of shiny things to steal, but doesn't really like committing to any kind of civilization.
Is that what Gurgle says?
Oh no, like what was the question?
I think
Oh,
that
I
you're
just said-
all just
You
introducing
said
yourselves.
he gurgles, and Tall
Yeah,
Kate
no,
said,
that's-
no, he's not
if,
making
if
that
someone
much
asks
noise.
him what his name is,
Mhm.
he gurgles at them like a crow gurgling.
Oh, I thought you literally said he gurgles. I apologize. That was the source of the confusion.
Ah.
I thought that was how you introduced yourself. All right. I go, fair enough.
What kind of a gurgle is it? Is there a chance they might think you're choking?
I mean, probably not.
Okay.
He's not making any motions like he's choking. He's just like, it's a deliberate like, oh, what's your name? And he like looks at you and gurgles.
Well, there's the we're gonna hit fast forward a little bit here as you guys eat and discuss. You all introduce yourselves to whatever extent you are willing to reveal your occupations and so forth. And you discover in the course of your conversation that you were all brought here in the same manner by these dreams and this sense of unease about your lives. And when, after however long you guys have had your fill of the food, well, actually, quick question. Do any of you try to eat any of the rotten food?
No.
Mm-mm.
You know what? Yeah, gurgles. I mean, maybe not deliberately, but just he's snacking and snatches a bit of some berries off of the moldy berry platter
Okay.
and eats them.
You got it. Okay, so
Tall
noted.
Kate continues to watch this go down.
When you guys have all eaten your fill, the woman in blue addresses you again with her assortment of heads. She says, "Thank you, friends, for taking the dangerous journey to be here today. I know each of you, your minds and your hearts, and yet I must keep my identity veiled. If I were even to think my true name, it would be instantly sensed by our enemies. And they would race here to break our fellowship and confound our plans. Please, let me be known to you as the Lady in Blue. Trust that I am a friend and not one that would mislead you. Know this, Our enemies, who are indeed the enemies of all right-thinking people in this world, have kept you from living the lives you were meant to live. Each of you was born under the wrong stars, a misfortune fostered upon you by our enemies. But I wish to be your ally. I can set this misfortune right. If you wish to have me for an ally, I ask just this, that tonight, when the full moon reaches the top of the sky, you step off that cliff and onto an invisible bridge that does not yet exist, but shall exist tonight. This bridge will take you on a long journey across the ocean. The journey will be difficult, and some of you may not live to see its end, but those who do shall find the hole in the sky, a porthole to another world. That world is a prison, and its warden is a titan, a fierce creature that cannot be slain by mortal means. The titan keeps a prisoner in a cage of alder wood. Its prisoner is our ally, and to say her name aloud would give my presence away to our enemies. At this, the lady in blue takes a cup of wine from the banquet table and carefully pours it there on the dusty ground. For just a moment, you see a word written there, Dresda. And a moment later, a mass of beetles bubble up from the earth and devour the word. They disappear, leaving only bare ground. She says, never speak that name aloud. Friends, I would ask that you take this bridge tonight under the full moon to the hole in the sky. Free our ally. Those who do shall be my trusted friends, and I shall set their stars right with this. She gestures, and you hear an immense tearing noise, as if the spinning of the world was grinding to a halt. Incredibly, a seam opens in the morning sky, and you are looking through it into another world where a massive black monolith is the epicenter of what seems like the mother of all storms. The wind blows so hard you are shoved back several feet, almost to the edge of the cliff. As your eyes adjust, you see that the monolith is actually the edge of an immense black wheel. The wheel turns slowly. It seems to be made of the night sky itself. And you see stars clustered in groups or shining alone in the surface of the wheel. As it spins, you feel as if reality itself might slip from beneath your feet at any moment. You can clearly hear every word that the lady in blue speaks, despite the gale force winds. She says, "This is the wheel of destiny, one of the posters of the universe. For each brave friend who aids in the rescue of our ally and returns, I shall allow them to spin it once. One time, and the true destiny you were meant for shall be yours." With a gesture, she closes the seam in the sky. The winds dissipate, and you see the remnants of your feast have all been blown into the ocean.
Well, that's unfortunate. I would have liked to have packed some food for our journey.
Perhaps I will have more when you return.
Gurgles offers Firma a bit of preserved rations.
Oh, no, that's okay.
I offer her my flask of strong hooch, which is one of the auto-generated items in my inventory.
Oh, well, I do appreciate that. Thank you. I'll take a quick swig off that.
The lady in blue offers you a severed human head.
A lot to take in. That is definitely not on my menu, ma'am.
It was a joke.
That was very funny.
Thank you, Tall Kate.
But you are offering us a destiny besides the one we thought we may have been living. I am curious. So yes, I will embark on this journey for you. It'll create a tale to be told.
It is
Indeed.
well.
Real quick, before we do, Tall Kate's on board, but I do want to use one of my inclinations, which is treasure sense, where I have a
Okay.
nose for finding hidden treasure, and I can always sense it if it's nearby. Now that the food has disappeared off the table, I'm trying to sense if those shiny plates have gone with it, or if they are still here, or if there's anything else in the area.
Yeah, go ahead and roll that with a boon.
Yep.
You will be, we'll just call it difficulty 2.
I rolled a 3 and a 6.
Yeah, you find actually something Gurgles didn't even see when the whole table was here, which is a couple of bright silver forks that have landed their way point first into the grass.
I lean down to straighten, retie my boot, and just whoop those up into my boot. My silver
All
forks
right.
now.
And Gurgles, when Kate sees that happen, you notice something behind her that she didn't see, which is the silver knives. 3 of them.
Oh,
Kate,
yeah.
Kate
Gurgles
seeing
will-
those forks, Kate seeing the forks kind of drew your attention to them.
Oh, yeah. No, I'll sticky fingers those.
Excellent. Okay, well, is anybody not going to agree to this mission?
Like, nah.
Yeah, no, not this time.
Yeah, see you guys. That's it
See
for
you guys
tonight,
later.
everyone.
Great work. All right.
See you next time.
Yeah, okay, so there's a village nearby, which for some reason the writers of this adventure named the village of Merkin. But you have the option of going there and shopping. It's morning now. The lady has informed you that this invisible bridge does not exist until midnight or until nighttime tonight at the full moon. So if you want to go to town for any reason, you may. If you want to just hang out here on the cliff, that's fine. What would you guys like to do?
I'll head into town. I'm hungry.
Yes. Well, I'm not one to sit around. Yes, I would like to venture into town.
Okay.
Town of Merkin.
Gurgles and hissing fluff will follow.
The town of Merkin. All right. You head into Merkin. It's a tiny fishing village. There's a local warlord that sort of is in charge of the place, but he's not really around. A couple guards standing watch on the main road. Big fish marketplace, which you can purchase fish from if you wish. Yeah, and I think whatever you guys want to do in town, you probably can pull off at this point. Is there anything specific you're looking for here?
I mean, Gurgles isn't really looking for anything, but he will definitely swipe a couple fish for himself and for hissing fluff.
Fish for fluff.
And I didn't get a 1 for either. So we got fish.
Fish it is.
Maybe some extra
yeah.
arrows and a first aid kit.
Yes, you may have those things. Yeah. And Kate, was there anything specific you wanted?
I'm looking for. Sorry. Looking for some food and also some information. I want to poke around and see if anybody knows anything about the 7-foot tall statue-headed lady out on the cliff, or if perhaps there's any local rumors about or local folklore around a bridge, this disappearing bridge, or if there's any adventurers that have come to town recently who have mysteriously vanished.
Those are some unique and interesting questions. I'm going to need you to tell me who you are asking them of. What type of person are you looking for?
I think I'm looking for kids. I want to know, yes.
Okay.
I'm going to pull out my daggers. I'm going to find a place where there's like some, a good amount of people around. Sort of find, so a group of likely looking kids and just start sort of casually juggling. See if they come to me.
Okay, so I'm going to say that your juggling for the kids is going to lower the difficulty that I had in mind a second ago, and your friends in low places aspect is going to give you a boon to this roll. So hit difficulty 3 on 2d6, please.
Got it. That's a 5 and a 5.
Okay, so statue-headed lady, no, the kids don't know what you're talking about, but you do start a rumor. And then adventurers coming to town and disappearing. What you get from these kids is the sense that they don't know how to spot an adventurer. As far as they know, anyone with a sword's an adventurer. So the guards in town, they all have rumors about them. There was like a head guardsman here the other day, and they haven't seen him since he left town, so they don't know. But overall, the sense you get is that the experience the three of you had on that cliff is not something that the kids in town have heard of before. It's not something epidemic to the people in this town.
Got it. And is there any story about a bridge, like any folklore about magic bridges?
On double fives, I will say that the kids actually have the only thing they know that's like that is kind of like a hopscotch chant that makes mention of a magic invisible bridge that if you go backwards on it, you fall in the ocean and die.
Awesome.
It's good to know.
I thank the kids very kindly. I give one of them a fish that I have purchased, and then I go find Gurgles and Firma and relay this to them.
Okay. By the way, guys, I didn't mention this at the beginning, but each of you has 3 karma and 1 hero die for the session. Cool. So you are telling Gurgles and Firma what you have learned?
Yes. Especially about the hopscotch chant. And because that is, I'm a big believer in folklore, and if it's in a chant that you hear right before you do it, it's almost always going to be true.
Yeah, and in the chant, but the thing about the chant is that to them it's just gibberish, and they hadn't really thought about it. It's like singing "Ring Around the Rosie." Like they never considered the words until you brought it up. So it's not like there's a local legend about this bridge. It's just like it's so long ago that this little chant is the only way it's remembered at all.
Interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting how it mentions an invisible bridge over the ocean as we are instructed to cross.
Yeah.
I assume we must not backtrack, or we may fall. Something to ask the lady in blue.
If we see her again, do you think she'll be there?
Is there
Don't
anything
know.
else that you guys would like to do before you leave town and head up there this evening?
Nah.
No.
Well, then, to answer your question, she's not there when you return. When you reach the cliff, it is getting dark, but the moon has not yet risen. So it's sort of the last glow of daylight fading away. The remnants of the table from earlier are here. There's some sort of cat noise in the distance.
That was not my cat.
No, I know
Scampers
that one.
across the cliffs.
I know the one that was.
There. Yes,
She does. She's not
okay.
much of a scamperer. Yeah,
It's a prop in this game.
cats on every end of this call.
I will. I will stand at the edge of the cliff and just kind of watch as I await the moon to rise.
Okay. Eventually, the moon does rise, and it is a full moon.
So
And the bridge is totally invisible. There's no like indication, like unusual
Well-
distortions or. No,
You see nothing out there.
I see nothing.
about any indication, I mean, Gurgles is going to kind of stand there with you, and as the moon rises, he starts tapping at what would be tapping at the space just off the cliff face with the butt of his spear.
As you start doing that, your spear just passes through air. But if you keep doing it long enough, eventually, all of a sudden, tap. You hit an unyielding surface that wasn't there before.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably not going to keep just jabbing at it, but just, every now and again as the moon's rising, kind of
Yeah.
takes a couple taps at it until there's something there.
Oh, there seems to be something there, Gurgles.
It sure does. Good work, Gurgles.
It is invisible. It is completely invisible, but Gurgles has tapped some solid object.
We do a little Indiana Jones act and throw some like dust or dirt out onto it to kind of hopefully make it more visible.
Give me a check for that, Firma. We're gonna call it difficult. Well, this is gonna be scaled difficulty. How high you roll is gonna determine what you learn.
5.
Okay, 5 is great. You throw the dust out, and you are able to see one edge of the thing on your left, and you see about 60 feet ahead of you is where like a little bit of gravel that you threw that's the farthest thing away that you can see. So you do not see where the right edge is because the dirt just didn't fly that way when you threw it.
I mean, Gurgles is going to take a cue from Firma and just kind of start kicking dirt and moving to the right until the dirt doesn't stay.
You mean you're going to take the thing that I made you roll for and spend uncontested time just making the roll pointless, which makes me wonder why I made you roll for it in the first place? Yeah.
Yes.
You do that. You discover the bridge is 20 feet wide.
Okay. Like, well, might as well. And I will
You
Indiana
first.
Jones it and step out.
You step out onto an invisible bridge over the ocean.
What?
I hope
I
you
mean,
don't. See
I
your height.
have- Oh no, you guys go ahead.
Well, I was going to say Gurgles gets a decent hold of Hissing Fluff's waddle and starts walking his companion out along this invisible bridge.
Mm-hmm.
There is
Tapping-
resistance. Hissing Fluff does not want to go at first, but yeah, he comes. Eventually, you manage to convince him
Yeah.
that there's
Yeah.
something there. Yeah.
No, and as Gurgles goes forward, he continues to tap in front of him with his spear.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will fall in side by side with you. I have torches in my bag. I'm going to take one of them out and kind of use it as a pole of my own, given that I'm so very short, and be tapping. So if you tap to your left, I'll tap to the right, or whichever side you want to go on, and just make sure that we're not going near the edge.
I will follow behind you. Kind of splitting the difference, forming a triangle. The point of the triangle is in the back.
Yep.
Yeah. See, we'll focus on now that's our cat. We'll focus on the bridge. You look out for any incoming cats.
Oh.
All right. Well, you guys begin traveling across the bridge. As you go, it gently rises to a height of about half a mile over the surface of the ocean. You guys have been traveling across it for many hours by the time it's this high. In fact, overnight, as dawn eventually breaks, this new day is sunny, but the air is quite cold. Land, the cliff face that you left, is completely out of sight.
Y'all don't think the bridge is going to stop working when the sun comes up, do you?
Oh, the sun has come up.
Oh, okay.
The bridge is still here.
Well.
And also, I'm just going to assume that at some point in an entire night of travel, someone tested it. And you have also discovered that the nursery rhyme was correct. If you go backwards about 60 feet, the bridge disappears behind you. So
Okay.
it seems to be DuckTalesing. As you travel along, the bridge is just disappearing behind you.
DuckTalesing?
Yes, this is a verb. And it is the word for when a bridge is falling away as you move across it. Watch the intro to DuckTales. What do you want me to say?
Yeah. So
No, I get
is
it.
there
I get it.
anything- Are we approaching anything along
Nope.
this bridge?
There is nothing ahead of you except the ocean horizon and nothing behind you but the same.
She did say we would find a hole or a portal.
Well, since you cannot go backwards, no matter how much you wish to sit and rest, which is an option, eventually you will have no choice but to go forwards. By day 2, in the midday, starts to rain. By late afternoon, the rain becomes a storm. It begins to be difficult to stay on the bridge. The winds are buffeting you. The rainwater is striking the bridge and making it slippery. At this point, if we were playing Dungeon Crawl Classics and you each had 4 or 5 player characters, you'd be rolling to stay on the bridge. We're going to do things a little differently tonight. But it's difficult, we'll say that. You're cold, you're miserable, you feel like you might get sick if you stay out here. around midnight, the storm finally abates, and still no destination in sight. Day 3, cold, windy. You start to pass over the wreck of a ship in the ocean. And then as you do, something comes flying out of the sky. I am going to say, let's see. You know what? Each of you give me a check to try and see what this thing is.
If it's treasure, I have a boon.
Okay, it is not.
It's a 2 on the die. Okay.
Well, that's a 1. That's a crit fail.
Okay.
I do not see it.
You don't see it at all.
Likewise. You know what? There's 2 of me here.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
you know
Gurgles, you don't see it because Hissing Fluff is going crazy.
Well, I don't see it, but I just rolled for Hissing Fluff, and Hissing Fluff saw the shit out of it.
What did he roll?
6.
Okay, I'm gonna come back to that. Firma, what did you roll?
A 2.
Okay, so Firma, you see this thing coming at you from the left up and above. Tall Kate, you are distracted by this berry, trying to decide if you should eat this berry you stole. It's the 3rd day now since you stole it. It might be cursed. You don't know. Gurgles at Baubles, you're trying. Your dinosaur just starts going nuts, and you're trying to calm down your dinosaur. But because you know him so well, it only takes you a second to realize he has seen something in the sky. And unlike Firma, Hissing Fluff has seen 2 things in the sky. There is, in fact, another one coming from the other side of the bridge. Yeah, thanks to Hissing Fluff, you guys are not surprised. So combat rules in this game say you go first. Players go first in any order that they wish. There are these reptilian creatures gliding in on wings with talons and huge jaws, ready to rip you to shreds. Who wants to do what? You're standing on an invisible bridge. You have a bow?
I have a bow.
Okay.
I have a bow.
That I am
I have
inclined
throwing
to
daggers.
use
Okay, and you have marksman as well, Firma, so I guess that's a boon to your attack.
Oh, I just dropped 2 6s.
Nice.
Ooh, all right. Well, is there a special rule for a double crit? I don't even know that. Well, regardless, yeah, you know what? We'll just call that automatic confirm crit since you rolled two 6s with your boon. You deal 2 strikes of damage to one of these flying things.
The crit rule, when you roll a 6 in combat, you continue rolling 1 die for every consecutive 6 rolled. Continue rolling 1 die for every consecutive 6 rolled, inflict another strike.
Right.
This is called confirming the crit.
Right. That's why I said since she had a boon and she rolled 2 6s on the first one, I'm just going to call it an automatic confirmed crit. Okay. You deal 2 strikes of damage to one of these things and knock it out of the sky. Yes, the other one's coming. Firma, we'll say you took out the one from the left, which is the one you saw. Kate and Gurgles, what will you do?
Yeah, Gurgles is going to draw his bow and loose an arrow at the one coming from the right.
Awesome. Yeah, roll the hit on that.
4.
That is a hit. You deal 1 strike of damage, but it is not dead. It's still coming for you. Tall Kate. Well, Gurgles, you have anything else you want to do on your turn?
No. I mean, do these look like any kinds of animals I've ever seen before?
Not really. It's like a giant lizard bat.
Okay. Yeah, no, then I'm good. If it's still kind of out of range and whatnot.
Yeah, it's not close enough for Hissing Fluff to attack yet.
Yeah.
Kate, what do you got?
I've got a throwing dagger, and I'm going to throw it at the guy still coming for Gurgles.
Okay.
All right.
Roll that.
I have no boons to my fighting. Oh wait, is this foe count as engaged with Gurgle?
No, he's not close enough yet.
All right, fair enough.
They're still flying in at you.
All right,
you've already
totally
killed
fair.
1.5 of them, and they're not even here yet.
Okay, that's gonna be a 5.
That's a hit. You deal another strike of damage to it,
Cool.
and it is dead. This thing's called a Kragor, and the first one, which Firma shot out of the sky, fell in the ocean, but this one was closer, and its momentum carries it onto the bridge, where its dead body collapses in the midst of you.
Yeah, can I examine that body? Does it seem weird in any way?
I shall read to you Scotty's description of this thing.
Okay.
It is...
There's one foul beast.
Yes. This tapered reptilian creature is about the size of a large wolf. It has membranes between its long front forelegs that it uses to leap and glide short distances. It has large curved dagger-like claws on its forefeet to slash prey before tearing with its oversized jaw. It also has a keen sense of smell, which I guess you can tell by the nose. And actually, that's all you can tell by looking. However, this one also has wings, in addition to the webbed talons. This one is capable of a longer distance flight than the stock one.
Okay.
Like,
How many
big
more
are
of these?
like sickle-like claws?
What was that, Gurgles?
How big are these? Like you said, they had like sickle-like foreclaws.
Yeah, they're like the size of a dagger, each one.
Yeah, can I try and harvest those?
Sure. If you want to
Okay.
stand here and do that, no problem at all. Kate, did you ask a question as well?
I did. How many of those did you say were coming at us still?
Oh, you killed them. There were 2. You killed them both.
Oh, just 2. Okay, I thought you
Yeah.
said there was more incoming.
Nope.
I raise an eyebrow to Gurgle's harvesting body parts. And these are unusual beasts I've not seen before.
Likewise.
Have I ever seen beasts like these before?
No. No, I mean, you've seen... you pronounced the name of your species of dinosaur very differently than I do. What did you call it again?
It's a Deinonychus.
Deinonychus. See, I always do the emphasis differently, so I was thrown off when you said it earlier. I always say Deinonychus. But you have seen thunder lizards, and this is probably similar to a dinosaur of some stripe, but you have not seen these before.
Yeah, no, I mean, I can probably sell these claws to like some kids somewhere who will think they're really cool.
Especially if you put a handle on them.
Eh.
Well,
I mean, is there any good meat on this thing?
yeah, Yeah, this one that landed on the bridge, you could butcher. I mean, if you guys want to stand here over the ocean on your invisible bridge and butcher an animal, you may do so.
Well, I mean, I'm less inclined to butcher it and more to just let Hissing Fluff have at it.
Okay, yeah, he can have it. That is no problem at all. Your assumption, based on the fact that you haven't seen any other objects in 3 days, is that these things were nesting in the crashed ship that's below you guys right now. That there's nowhere else they could have come from unless they flew a really long way.
I will also, politely staying out of the Deinonychus's way, harvest a couple of those claws.
Okay.
Do you want one?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, here.
Awesome.
Gurgles offers you one of the horrible flying reptiles' claws.
Well, Hissing Fluff is able to eat his fill off this creature. It is, after all, wolf-sized. And do you want to try and take any of the meat with you or anything?
I mean, I've got some preserved rations, so I'm pretty good.
All right. Then I will assume that at the end of your butchering break, you guys continue moving. Firma, were you going to say something?
I was just going to say, while they're butchering or eating the creature, I pulled out like a little handkerchief and I kind of like covered my face with it and like,
Yeah.
Raising an eyebrow to the whole process.
You do have to stay within 60 feet of them, though, because if any of you get too far ahead, wherever the furthest along person is, 60 feet behind them, the bridge ceases to exist. So,
see you later.
and you've already learned that information by this point in your travels, so you do have to stay nearby-ish. But you're outdoors, there's breezes, it's the ocean air. It basically just smells like when you're at the pier and there's a lot of people selling fish. And it doesn't smell good, but you ignore it because you want to be out at the ocean. That's what it's like. Yeah, you all know what there's nodding. Yeah, okay. So you continue walking. At some point later today, about sundown actually, Gurgles has indicated that he is occasionally tapping ahead of him with the butt of his spear.
Yeah.
I'm going to have you roll, and I'll call it a difficulty 4, and if you pass it, you will bypass the actual real roll, because it will mean that you happen to tap at the correct time.
Am I rolling for this too, since I'm also tapping?
I didn't know you were, but yes.
Yeah, we were both doing it together.
4.
Okay, Gurgles, as you're walking along, just every so often tapping ahead with your spear. Kate, did you get a 4 or higher?
No, 2.
Okay, so it just Gurgles then. You just happen to tap at a certain point, and your spear hits nothing.
Oh. Real quick, you just failed that check, right?
That check.
Yeah.
That check was
That means-
only a luck check to see if you're tapping at the exact right moment to discover the end of the bridge.
That's not going to net her karma.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
she will get karma for that. Yes, for sure. Thank you for reminding me. You get a new point of karma. You're up to 4 now.
Yay.
I meant to
shouldn't-
create on-screen
Shouldn't she
trackers
be
for
up to
that.
5 because she failed that the check to spot the flying lizards?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're right, and so did you. So you
Yeah,
took
I
a
did.
point for that earlier? Okay, great.
I'm taking
Yes.
it now.
Jason's right. You're up to 5.
I'm up to 4. She should be up to 5.
Yeah, thank you for calling that out. I intended to create on-screen trackers for karma, and I totally forgot. Yeah, so that check was just to see if you discovered the end of the bridge. Had you both failed it, then there would have been another check to see if you fell off. But you did okay. You have reached the end of the bridge. There's nothing here.
And it doesn't turn?
It does not turn. You are able to discover the full perimeter of this thing at this point. You are on a floating 60-foot by 20-foot wide platform in the middle of fucking nowhere.
I mean, can we still see that wrecked ship in the distance?
No, that was hours ago.
Fuck.
That was midday. It's now sundown.
Well, I think we are screwed.
Well, the good news is you have your rations.
Yeah. No, I
There
mean,
is-
if this bridge isn't going to keep going, Gurgles is going to curl up with hissing fluff and nibble on some of those preserved rations and wait.
You start to maybe panic a little bit about who you've made this deal with as the night turns black. The moon rises. You're still on an invisible floating platform a half mile above the water in the middle of nowhere. The three of you, if there were someone to see it, you and your dinosaur friend just look like four random bodies literally floating in the sky above the middle of the ocean. An entire day goes by. And then a second one.
I plead to the blue ladies, like, lady, where is our destination?
She does not reply.
Gurgles would like to, at least after like that first night, use one of his chalk sticks to try and demarcate the outline of this invisible platform we're on.
Okay. Yeah, that's easily done enough. You are able to outline the platform. So you guys all know where not to go. Hissing Fluff lacks the capacity to recognize the significance of symbols, and so he requires...
I actively am working with Hissing Fluff to chill out and giving him a little bit of rations and
you're able to keep him from going nuts. Mostly because it would just be super bad for him to have your beast friend run off the edge of a bridge at the very start of this.
That'd be some like second edition D&D style mean.
Yeah, mean indeed. In fact, honestly, it's a miracle that you convinced a dinosaur to step off a cliff in the first place. So now he's just fully trusting in you for all of this.
Well, I mean, I can speak to him.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I have beast speech, which means I can speak to any animal.
I would say yes, you can, but of course his understanding is limited by his intelligence.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So after 2 days of this, just long, I imagine, I mean, it's, you guys are playing your characters. I know if it were me, by 2 days in, I would just be assuming that we were all going to die. But at that point, there is an odd shimmer in the air off on the horizon. It gets closer, and you begin to see it as a 15-foot diameter, circular sort of window, surrounded by crackling blue fingers of energy. Through this window, you can see clearly another world with a magenta sky. As it moves closer and closer, it eventually lines up with where Gurgles has outlined the end of the bridge in the direction that you were traveling.
Is that like land on the other side of that?
Indeed, you see land.
I immediately jump to it.
Gurgles is like pulling Hissing Fluff along to get the fuck off this like invisible platform and onto ridiculously alien dry land.
It absolutely is that.
Follow
Firma,
suit.
I assume you as well?
Absolutely. This was the portal we were promised.
Yes. You were not fully informed of what an ordeal this would be, but you have pulled it off thus far. As you step through the hole, your ears pop, and the sudden warmth of this place makes you momentarily dizzy. You have, after all, been out over the ocean for days and nights. But you are now in what must be an entirely different world. The air is misty, but as best you can tell, the sky is a bright magenta color. You are standing in what appears to be some sort of bamboo forest. But the bamboo is thinner and flatter than you've ever seen. Looking behind you, you cannot see the porthole. Your companions, I believe, who went through first? Was it Kate?
Yeah, I jumped through. Unless anybody else wants to say they were faster than me.
Nope, that's all good.
Looking behind you as the other two come through and Hissing Fluff, they seem to be stepping in through thin air. You can't see the portal from this side. The air is heavy, and it has an oppressively intense scent, like overwhelming amounts of saffron. Off in the distance, you see a single structure. The mist limits your visibility, but you see this dark object rising up out of the mist ahead. And I'm going to put a little picture. There it is.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's misshapen.
It is, and it's actually it's much bigger than what this image implies. The scale's a little off here. This thing is hundreds of feet tall, and you're seeing it from a great distance, so it's more of a silhouette.
That does not look welcoming.
Yeah.
No.
In every other direction, all you see is this sort of bamboo forest, but only this structure sort of breaks the monotony.
We were told we were going to free somebody from prison, I assume. That sure looks it's got kind of a prison vibe to it to me.
Yes, very ominous. Very unkind. It hurts the eyes to look upon it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gurgles and Gurgles with Hissing Fluff in tow is going to start walking towards that horrible-looking, misshapen structure.
All right. As you do so, it's actually a couple miles to get to it. But as you get closer and closer, it begins to take clearer form in your perception. 300 foot tall, covered in 50-foot long thorns. It doesn't look like a building so much as something that was grown, like some sort of massive seed pod. There's one entrance ahead of you, a 60-foot tall double door with a giant latch.
Let me point out really quick. It's 9:50. Is this a good point to take our break, or I don't know how long getting through the door will take?
Yeah, I was going to take the break soon. We
Okay,
can do it
no
now.
worries then.
This is a perfectly fine stopping point. I was going to do it after you got through the door. Either way, it doesn't matter. Yeah, let's go ahead and take our break now, and we can come back in 10 minutes. Thank you,
Awesome.
whoever is watching. In 10 minutes, we will continue The Hole in the Sky. Welcome back to Tales from the Backlog. We're playing EZD6, Hole in the Sky. And here you guys are at this big friggin' thing in the picture here. I know there's a lot of pictures on screen, but obviously I'm talking about the giant stabby pine cone thing with the door in it. As I said, it's 350 feet tall. That door is actually double doors with a big latch, and that door is 60 feet tall. I'll say you're about 50 yards away at this point.
How far up the door is the latch? I mean, if it's that large, can we even open it?
The latch is about halfway up, about 30 feet.
It's about 30 feet.
Can we fit under it?
If you wish to approach, you can maybe tell that.
I want to use my treasure sense. Do I sense not in the tower, but around it and outside it? Just looking for anything, like old statuary, traces of, I don't know, this is probably pushing the definition a little bit too much, but just a general, like, anybody, left some scattered coins or jewels around here?
No, the only thing that your treasure sense picks up from outside the tower is the sheer amount of work and craftsmanship that went into making that latch and those hinges. But they are much too big to pilfer, even were they not attached to the doors.
Yeah.
So, Gurgles, are you in fact approaching?
Cautiously approaching.
Yes. When you get close enough, you see that the doors are in fact 5 feet above the ground. The crack under the door is that big, you could easily stoop. Firma could maybe crawl, but you could easily get under the doors.
I figure Tall Kate and myself could probably fit under there pretty easy. Hissing Fluff would have to stoop like a little bit, and Firma might have to crawl.
She might have to duck way down. But regardless, it's a 5-foot gap. All of you could get through it.
Yeah, I relay that information back to everyone else.
Okay. I would like to volunteer to go first, and I would like to sneak in and just do a quick scout and see what's on the other end of the door.
Okay. So you go into the door and take a look inside. This is a single huge room. It's a massive organic shape like the inside of a colossal hive. Lights shine down from holes within the ceiling, and glowing creatures fly about in the distant expanse, throwing strange green lights across the floor and walls. Reclining against the far wall is that guy. He is a massive creature. Looks like he'd be 60 feet tall if he stood up. His red-brown fur and the head, face, and trunk of a giant predatory beast.
Of course.
The creature's snoring rattles your heart in your chest. Hanging above it, from what appears to be a massive tree branch growing from the inside of the wall, is a domed cage of woven wood more than 100 feet off the ground. From this angle, you can't see inside the cage.
Okay. I will sneak my way back out and report back to these two.
Alrighty. Here's you rascaling.
All right. I'm sorry, was he asleep, did you say?
Yes, snoring
Okay.
quite loudly. Snoring so much you
All
could
right.
feel it.
Well, as it happens, one of the other highly convenient. Oh, you know what? Wait, I'm sorry. I have a question. You said there were holes in the ceiling with light coming through. Is
Yeah.
that I just to confirm, that means there are holes open to the sky, right?
You couldn't tell.
Okay, fair enough. I will relay this back to these two, all the details that I picked up, and also reach into my oilskin bag and pull out my grappling hook. Like, I mean, seems pretty straightforward to me. We just don't have to wake him up.
But something that large, good lord. Obviously, this door would indicate how big something would be, but really? That big?
I mean, you all look big to me. I mean,
I'm maybe like half a head taller than you are.
a giant among birds.
So,
Right?
your grappling hook, you intending to scale the outside of this tower or go inside and
I feel like
find a way up to the cage?
it's an interesting conundrum. Just on a purely technical matter, I'm fascinated. I'm going to assume when I got the grappling hook, it just said hook. I'm going to assume that probably comes with 25 to 50 feet of rope, because nobody ever carries 100 feet of rope in these things.
Yes, and nobody would have a grappling hook without a rope.
How high did you say? Yeah, it would be funny if I just had a grappling hook.
The
Better
door
find
is
some rope.
60
There it
feet tall.
goes.
The door is 60 feet tall. The cage is hanging more than 100 feet up.
All right. So we have to find a way.
How close are these spines on the outside of the building?
How close are they to each other?
Yeah, like how dense is that? Like I'm curious about it in terms of climbability.
They are too big to. We're not talking about like tree branches here. Each one of them is more like a tree trunk, 50 feet long. They're not convenient for climbing.
What do you think?
The cat's like, "Arr." Well, we have to somehow free somebody from the cage. That's what our directive was.
Yeah, wait a second. Gurgles. You're a bird, you're good with animals. What about how big were those giant birds, DM? Or rabble rouser, sorry.
Giant birds? You mean
You
the
said there were-
glowy things?
Glowy birds.
The cragors, the little wolf things we shot up. They said
No,
Oh,
there were glowing birds flying around
Oh,
inside.
I'm sorry. Inside. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Inside there are. They're not birds. They're more like fireflies, but big ones, cat-sized.
You couldn't convince one of them to. Does anybody else have rope? If we doubled up the rope and convinced a firefly to fly it up to the cage?
I mean, I don't have rope, and my ability to talk to those would depend on whether or not the rabble rouser decides if or rules if they are animals or not.
Kate, you didn't really take too good of a look at them when you were in there.
No, I didn't. And my eyes on the giant monster and the cage, which was the target.
Yeah. If Gurgles would like to go in and take a look, that is also possible.
Yeah, Gurgles is going to indicate to Hissing Fluff to stay out here and just keep an eye on these two, and I'll be right back. And then he slips under that door.
Cool. Under the door, you see the same as Tall Kate saw. Big room, sleeping monster, cage way up, floating, glowing things. I said cat. They're a little smaller than a cat, more like a melon. But they look like glowing, floating brains.
Floating what?
Brains.
Oh, brains.
Okay. Well, good. That means they'll listen to logic. Everybody knows a glowing, floating brain is highly unemotional and...
They only look like brains. They are not brains. I'm going to say Gurgles at Baubles has heard of these things. These are called brain flies. They are basically giant, ugly insects. What looks like a brain is actually a collection of sensory organs. And they survive, they're carrion feeders, basically. They survive off rotting material, rotting organic material. There's a bunch of them in here.
And they're fucking brain sized. I'm gonna try and call one down to me.
As you attempt to get one to approach you, you hear a voice from behind and above saying, "I'm ever so sorry to have to do this." And then something attacks you. Lucky for you, its first attack misses. Unlucky for you, it gets 3 attacks. Okay, this thing has rolled a 2 3 times in a row. So you are standing there trying to get a brain fly to come to you, and 3 tentacles slam into the ground. Right, I assume you're just barely peeking out from under the door trying to do this.
Yeah.
They're coming down from above and behind. Something above the door is striking down at you. You are able to leave.
Yeah, no, I'll yank my head right back out of there.
Get out of there!
We heard the loud crashing sound. What was that?
Yeah, there is something in there over the door, possibly on the door, and it almost got me. But I did not get an eye on it.
You hear from under the door that same voice saying, I'm so glad that you survived. You must now exit this dimension or face a fate worse than death. Slow and painful death.
Do we all hear that?
Do either of you have a mirror?
Oh, it's a good question. I have some weird stuff.
I'm now regretting not taking one of those silver plates.
Sadly,
no,
no.
I'm a dandy, so I may be a little bit narcissistic. I might have one that I'm always like, hey.
You know what? All of you might have a mirror. Everyone roll. If anyone hits a 6, you've got a mirror.
I mean, I don't. I have a bunch of garbage, and I don't have a mirror.
I rolled
I have
one.
a lot of other weird stuff that could be useful in specific circumstances.
Yeah, you all seem like the kind of person who just might have a mirror. That's why I said
turn
just
out our
roll for it.
pockets. Nope. I do have my flask. It's probably not fancy enough. I'm not fancy enough to have a silver flask.
No. I don't know. I feel like a collection of shinies might include a mirror, but...
Well, you know, I just decided on a lark to check, and I got that 6.
You've got a mirror, dude.
Apparently I got a fucking mirror.
Cool.
So,
you're going to stick that under the door?
Yeah. I want to, like, get under the door and kind of, like, I want to try and see what has been talking to me. Get some kind of eye on it without it being able to get, oh, hi there. You're ugly.
It's a jack-o'-lantern.
And those things coming out of it are the tentacles that struck at you. It sees you see it. And it says, I do hope you're not coming back in. I would hate terribly to have to destroy you.
Where is it? Yes?
Above the door. But its tentacles are quite long and it can reach you.
It's too bad there's not 18 of us. And we can
As we have
overwhelm its
learned,
tentacles with numbers.
As we have learned, that would not necessarily help.
Oh, hi. Yeah?
No.
Okay. So now we have to get up to a 100-foot cage, and there's a tentacle jack-o'-lantern.
I'll tell you what. Tall Kate and Gurgles. Actually, just Gurgles. You've got that mirror in there right now. Are you looking at anything other than this creature when you stick that mirror in there? This is for Gurgles.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, Gurgles is pretty focused on whatever was trying to kill him earlier.
Fair.
So he does not look at anything else.
Okay, so I'll lay out your options at this point, and let me know if you can think of one that I haven't. You can go in and try to find a way up to the cage and hope this thing fails to kill you. You can attempt to climb the outside, even though it's 350 feet and it's not particularly climby. Or you can try to leave, even though you have no idea how to get back. The portal's not visible from this side.
We just
Mia,
mad dash in. Just do a
sorry.
mad dash, get in there and run, and try and get cover as quickly as possible.
Do you want to try that, Firma?
And then fight the pumpkin beast. Yeah, I think that's probably the only option that I see.
All right.
Yeah, I don't have a... Tall Kate is tired and cold and probably hungry. Like, all right, let's do it.
You do have a berry.
I ate the berry.
Oh,
We talked about that.
It was a good berry, wasn't
It
it?
was a good berry, but not a good berry, which would have
Not a
given me an
good
entire
berry.
day's worth of sustenance. It was merely a berry which was good.
yeah. So anyway,
Not-
about the prison.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're gonna try a mad dash in.
That's a suggestion. You go left, I'll go right, and someone go up the center. Maybe Kate, you can sneak in and have it not see you, and you could take up a strategic position and attack it,
Yeah.
drawing its attention while Gurgles and myself come in to avoid.
I was thinking more like I could sneak in, and then when it attacks you, when you guys come tramping in, then I'll stab it in the back. But, you know.
Well, okay, Gurgles would just like to point out, like, the sizable range this thing's melee attacks have. Just he wants to put that out there.
You have my bow,
And my axe.
and anybody have an
My
axe?
many,
Yes.
many
No, I don't think
throwing
any of us
daggers.
have.
And this claw that we took off of a dinosaur.
Because
I'm up for it.
honestly, I'm kind of thinking, okay, this is going to be dependent on my ability to communicate with my beast friend. Yeah, I know, honey, not you. And convince Hissing Fluff to climb this thing from the outside while we try and engage and distract from the inside.
I do not believe that a Deinonychus has the ability to climb a wall.
I mean, what's this thing made out of?
It's organic material. It is like a big pine cone. It's woody.
So give me. I've literally seen reconstructions of these things, climbing trees.
Okay. You know what? I'll allow it. The crow with the dinosaur would like the dinosaur to please climb the giant pine cone.
Yeah, I mean, basically trying to convince, like, I want to lay out for it that I want him to climb up, look for a window to get in for this branch up top, and if the branch is attached by rope, to cut that rope and let whatever's in it out.
Am I right in thinking that Firma has not yet looked into the room?
I
You are
have
correct.
not.
Okay. So yeah, Kate went in first, and then Gurgles went in, and then the mirror went in. So I'm gonna say to Gurgles and Kate, please roll a d6, difficulty 3. Gurgles, you have a boon to this.
That's a 6
Oh,
for me.
Okay.
I got a 3.
Okay, well, 3 is what I said the difficulty was. Gurgles, the reason you had a boon is because you were the one actively judging the exterior of this thing to see if your dinosaur could climb it. But Kate, you got the crit. You both realize that the room you saw inside, though massive, does not constitute more than half the volume of this structure.
Oh.
Okay. I convey that, and I will actually step outside and see if I can dig my dagger into the outside of this freaky seed pod dragon fruit thing.
I mean, it's like stabbing a tree.
Okay, so it's woody. It's not hollow or anything. All right. Oh, well, that might make things a little easier. Oh, sorry.
Well, you know it's hollow. You saw a room in there.
Oh, I mean the walls. It's not.
It's not thin bark.
It's not like a. Yeah, it's not a thin wall that we can climb up the inside of.
What are you asking me specifically?
Oh,
I don't understand. Because what you said is you tried to stab it.
Yes. Yeah, I was looking to see if there's a way to like break, if there's like an outer shell and an inner shell, and we could travel up between the two. But as best I can tell, it's solid.
Yeah, you cannot tell that information by stabbing the outside wall with a knife. You're asking me, are there tunnels in the walls? You cannot stab through the wall from outside and learn that.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Not tunnels, but just the wall itself being like having an outer shell and an inner shell and being hollow in the middle.
Again, the room you saw does not make up more than half the volume of this structure.
Got it. Wait, in which direction? Like there is, like it's short or like it's contracted?
It's not wide enough to reach the walls. Like there's several feet of wall on the outside of this thing.
Okay. All right.
At least several feet.
That's what I thought you said the first time.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure I hadn't misheard there.
I mean, it's very tall. You know that the cage, like I said, is more than 100 feet above you. But the structure is 350 feet tall.
Maybe there's an alternative way into the structure if we scout around it.
I mean, we haven't walked around the structure yet.
Yeah.
Walking around the structure, you find no other exterior doors.
How easy would it be to climb up those thorny, spiky things?
Well, I mean, this keeps coming up. I haven't said it's impossible. But I mean, it'd be like rock climbing, basically. These thorns are not like handholds. They're the size of tree trunks, each one of them. But you could...
So there's something we can stand on.
Yeah, you could maybe give it a try, especially if you've got hooks and knives and stuff.
Mm-hmm. What do you guys think? Should we go in over the top?
Let's
do it.
Try.
Okay.
Up we go.
All right. I will go ahead and kind of lead the way unless anybody else wants to, because I think I am the most acrobatic amongst us.
Okay, I'm looking at all of your aspects here to see what you've got to help with this. I'm going to say Hissing Fluff can just do it, though it is slow.
Yeah.
I'm going to say Tall Kate gets a boon to her climbing checks because of the acrobat aspect. Firma, you're just going to roll normally, I think, unless you have something that you think would help. And I think Gurgles is also just going to roll normally. Yeah, so 350 feet.
Okay.
I'm going to say for every successful roll, you can gain 50 feet.
All right. My first roll. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, and we'll do this as a group check. So if two of you pass, you all pass. So what was your first roll, Kate?
Top result is 5.
Okay. Firma?
1.
Oh boy.
No.
Gurgles.
Yeah, Gurgles is checking something real quick.
Okay. You know what, Firma? You take a strike.
Okay.
Uh,
You can spend a die. You can spend your hero die.
Your hero die.
What was the target number for a success? A 3?
3.
I'll take the hit.
Okay.
And also get a karma.
Yeah. And this is if Gurgles passes, though, you will make the 50 feet because that'll be passing the group check.
And I am calling on my hero die.
Okay.
And my hero die got a crit.
All right. Your crit cancels Firma's crit fail as you grab her when she's falling off the wall and help steady her. So Firma, you do not take that strike of damage because Gurgles helps you climb up. Heavily anchored by the assistance of his own friend Hissing Fluff, who, as I've learned tonight, can just fucking climb stuff. Yeah.
Dinosaurs are fucking cool.
According to smart scientists. Yeah, okay, so you guys gain 50 feet before you find a good place to rest before ascending the next 50 feet. However, once you're up there, you discover that you are not alone. You stumble upon what appears to be a bunch of people living on top of one of these thorns. There's actually 2 or 3 of these thorns. Their planks have been placed across them, and they are living here in the shadow of the thorns above them. They look like people, halflings, humans, dwarves, but there's something wrong with them. It's like they're mutated. You're not sure what they've been eating or how long they've been here, but yeah, there are 8 of these guys. And one of them comes over to you as soon as you get there. And he looks at you for a long time, kind of waiting to see what you're going to do. And it's kind of like when a guard dog sees you, and there's that moment where he's waiting to see if you're going to move or if he's going to move you. Gurgles, you got the 6, so I believe you're in front. What will you do?
I'm going to hail and well met.
Who are you?
I gurgle at him.
Several of the people behind him also gurgle.
It's working. Keep going.
You brought child.
How dare you? I'm very tall.
Yeah, Gurgles is kind of confused by that comment. I get it, but
I'm not a child. I'm an acrobat. And you know what? And I will pull out not daggers because I'm not an idiot. I'm going to pull out my fake jewels, which is also something I rolled for in my pack, and I'm going to start juggling those, balancing very carefully on this tree trunk sized thorn. Ta-da! What do they think? Can I roll for performance?
They're just confused.
It's huge where I come from. Kids love it.
You live here now.
Why do you say that?
Where else?
Well, we were thinking we would, we're explorers. We're just thinking we'd go up to the top, see what's up, and, go on to the next place.
Top. Cannot.
Yeah.
Another one, a dwarf mutant comes up behind the one that's been speaking, and he says, "Woman, you sent by woman. Stone face, blue dress."
In blue. Yes.
Yes. I say once Burma's committed.
Yes. Us, sent by woman. Friends died.
Oh.
We can't go up.
why?
Death.
How?
Can't go down.
Why?
Creatures in the forest.
Huh.
Creatures above, creatures inside. No way back.
What I see here is an opportunity, because maybe the three of us aren't enough. And maybe all of you guys, how many did you say there were? Sorry.
Eight.
8 weren't enough. But maybe the 11 of us together can make this happen and just get on out of here. Can we give the lady in blue what she wants?
They do not look happy when you say give the lady in blue what she wants. You start to see weapons being drawn.
Uh-oh.
Oh, okay. All right. Sorry. Didn't, not fans of the lady. Sorry, I misread the situation.
The one who addressed you originally says, "Take their weapons and meet." And they start running to attack you.
All right. Well, I didn't think that was going to be the thing, but let's do it.
Okay.
How close were they?
They are close range. The ones in front will say 10 feet away from you. So again, in combat in this system, you guys go first in any order you wish.
Yeah, I mean, which is whatever the closest mutant guy is, Gurgles is going to defend himself with his spear.
Okay, yeah, the two who spoke are both equally nearby.
Cool, whichever. The one we talked to first.
Okay.
The one who said to take our weapons.
He looks like he was probably once a human.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Okay. I got a 3.
That hits.
Yay.
You deal a strike of damage and kill this guy.
Oh.
What about Hissing Fluff? Does he attack?
Yeah, I mean, I guess Hissing Fluff will just move in with me and go after the guy next to him.
Cool. Roll that.
5.
This fellow also ceases to be alive. You have killed what was once probably a human and a dwarf. There are 6 more mutants. And they are, if anything, indifferent to the deaths of their companions and perhaps grateful not to have to share your meat with them.
Let's do more than decimate them.
What are we going to do?
Well, Kate and Firma, what will you do? Firma has an arrow.
All right.
Well,
I guess. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I assume, Firma, that you meant you are firing that arrow.
Could wait for Kate, but yeah, I rolled a 3.
You have killed one of them. There are 5 left. Kate?
All right. I will throw my throwing dagger.
Okay, you drop one of your fake jewels.
Sure. Do I have to take an action to put them away?
Well, you're in mid-juggle, so I imagine that you just throw a dagger instead.
No, I stopped. I very clearly stopped and did a ta-da.
I imagined this as
You imagine I
happening
was
in the middle of your juggle.
Your negotiations, yes.
I mean, I just highly recommend you do it mid-juggle, but that's okay.
Yeah, you know
can put
what?
the gems
This is
away.
how Tall Kate negotiates. Always be ABJ, always be juggling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
right.
Roll that attack.
I will roll that attack.
And this is throwing?
This is throwing.
Okay.
None of them are close enough to hit me, right?
They will be when their turn comes, yes.
All right.
They are all close range.
That's a 5.
Okay, you are down to 4 of these guys. The 3 of you managed to drop 4 of them in the first round here. But the remaining 4, you know what? They're going to come at you.
Okay.
1 each. First one's going for Hissing Fluff. 3 to hit Hissing Fluff.
Hissing Fluff just take a hit.
Yeah, I don't actually have up what his sort of stats are.
He has 2 strikes.
He has 2 strikes. He's down to 1 strike. The next one is going for you. And you will take a strike unless you have armor that you can roll a save with.
Me?
Yeah, do you have armor?
I do.
Then you roll
I think I get
save.
a 5+. Save against wounds on a 5+.
There you go.
5 to 6. Mm-hmm.
And I got a 5.
Cool. So you avoid that strike with your armor. The next guy is coming for Tall Kate. He just whiffs it, and you know what? On a 1, he falls off the platform. And he's gone. And then, unfortunately, the next guy crits on Firma, dealing a strike. Crits, I'm very sorry, crits again. And deals 2 strikes to Firma. And the last roll is a miss.
I rolled a 6 on my save for at least one of those ticks.
Okay. I believe you get to use your armor on each strike.
Yeah, you check for each strike.
Okay.
Yeah.
And a 5 on the second, so that's a...
Okay. I think you avoid both of them then. You catch them on your armor, and now it's back to you guys. There's 3 of them left. One of them crit failed and fell off the damn treehouse or whatever. Gurgles, you want to go first again?
Yeah, F it. I'll turn on one of these other guys and take a stab.
You know what? The guy that crit failed, he tripped over the fake jewel that Kate dropped while he was trying to attack her.
So I've got a 6.
Okay, that's a crit.
And now the next one was just 5.
Well, that's okay. These guys only have one strike. So
Yeah, but if I can chain that, potentially I could get other guys if they're nearby.
Yep, but nonetheless, you're down to 2 guys. So hissing fluff.
You can spend karma to push that up to a 6.
Oh, that's
on that
true.
5.
I'm saving my karma.
Yeah, hold on to it.
Because I'm almost at getting my hero die. So yeah, hissing fluff is gonna tear at one of the other guys.
Cool.
With a 5.
Yeah. So there's one left for Firma or Kate to dispatch.
You want a shot at them? I mean, I'm cool.
It's the one that is attacking me, though, right? That was the one that almost
that's
me.
The remaining one. Yeah.
All right. Well, they're too close for me to use my bow on, so I'm just gonna like give them a hard kick to try and kick them off of the tree.
Okay.
Oh, that's a 2, but I will spend a karma to push that to a 3.
All right, you kick him right off. That's a strike of damage, and he falls down. He hits a few branches on the way down.
And what's that? The Wilhelm scream?
Yep. Yeah, he's gone. Kate, you want to pick up your fake jewel, and you guys are now alone.
I give it a little flick, catch it. Like, all right, well, so death above, death below, turn into a monster. Let's go get this guy, and get the hell out of here as fast as possible.
You guys are gonna keep climbing?
I'm gonna try and call for a mild timeout.
Yeah.
Just to catch our breath, and so hissing fluff can eat a little bit, and I'm trying to find the damn healing rules.
Oh, it's a rest-based healing, I believe.
Yeah. Which, like, there's rest, and then there was like a eat something.
Yeah, I believe you will be fine to just chill here for a little while and let your guy heal up, but let's double check. How do we recover lost strike? You can also recover strike by eating a meal or resting for the night. So if you have magic or special abilities,
rest, and let hissing fluff just free graze a little bit.
Yeah, there's probably whatever the mutants were eating here, which is rotting pulp and something
there's
that they
also
hunted.
mutant meat.
Yeah, he can eat them. Actually, he will not. He will refuse to eat. He refuses to eat them.
They're off. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
These guys are like pre-rotted.
Ew. Well then, yeah. If I want to give him something to find something for him to eat, and we can take a rest.
A few hours, he recovers his strike of damage.
Okay.
And nobody else ended up getting hurt, right? You guys armored your way out of everything.
Yeah.
All right. Well, when you've finished resting and probably pushing the disgusting mutants off the platform and feeding hissing fluff, you are able to resume your climb upward.
Yeah, can we use this, like, how far up did this, like, encampment go? Just, like, a couple?
Yeah, just a little bit. But at this point, you are, though it does take you significant time, you are no longer contested on the way up. So it's a hard climb, but you guys are able to make it the rest of the 300 feet. to the top, where you do indeed discover openings through which the light that Kate originally saw is coming through. The largest opening is about 3.5 feet wide.
Okay. How far down is the cage? Can we see it from here?
It's about 200 feet down.
Yeah. All right. What's it hanging off of?
Let me put the picture back. It's a tree branch, like a branch, a gigantic branch growing out of the side of the inner wall.
How far down is the tree branch?
200 feet.
What? Oh, I see. It's just hung off of it. I thought it was like dangling. Okay. How scalable are these inner walls?
It would be difficult to make it 200 feet. I would ask for a series of checks at each one at a 3. But if you fail any of them, you fall.
Yeah. From this angle, can we see who or what is in the cage?
No. But you can see that above the tree branch, where you couldn't see it from below, there is in fact an opening leading to what appears to be a separate, much, much smaller room within this thing, and perhaps a hallway back there. So you realize now that the giant room you saw is not the only room in this place. Somehow there's a way to get out on top of that tree branch from within the walls. However, if you want to try and climb down, you do have your ropes, you have your hooks, and the farther down you get with successful checks, the less dangerous a fall would be, because you're going to be above the branch and able to try and land on it. So you have the option either of plan A, which is climb down from where you are, or plan B, which is climb down the outside and try to find your way in again. But of course, plan B also puts you back in front of Pumpkin Monster.
Yeah. Since we're already up here, I am fine if I go for it. I don't know, because I mean, acrobatics is kind of my whole thing, quite literally. So I'm assuming I would get a boon to making a climb down.
You would have a boon. You would also have an available hero die, and I think like 5 or 6 karma.
Yeah.
So you have a decent chance there.
I'm totally happy to go down, guys. What do you say?
Go for it.
Watch my back. I will go ahead and do that. How do you want me to roll this?
2d6, yeah.
Yeah, it's 2d6. You just need either of them to beat a 3.
Okay. That's a double crit, a 6 and a 6.
Okay. In that case, you describe to me the method of your climbing down.
Any description of what do the inner walls look like? Like, are they smooth? Are they sort of lumpy? Like,
they're lumpy, they're pulpy. Mostly what I'm asking you is, are you trying to climb down a wall, or are you using your rope and trying to just dangle down? Because the opening is kind of middle of the room. It's not really near a wall. You'd have to get to a wall to climb down a wall.
I will find the opening that is the closest to a wall, closest to the branch, the wall that the branch is coming out of. And I'm going to go down that wall, take my time, do it right, dig in, and really make sure that I'm being careful, but you know, I've climbed much trickier surfaces than this, and I make it down to the branch and jump down the last few feet, and
well, you don't
like,
make it all the way
3-point
to the.
land-
You
Oh,
don't
I
make
don't?
it all the
Okay.
way to the branch. No, you're. I said I was going to take 3 rolls.
Yes,
Your
fair
double crit counts for 2, so you're only going to have 1
Fair.
roll left. You
All right.
make it 2/3 of the way down, very completely safely, but you do have to roll again.
All right. That's a 1 and a 4.
Okay. Yeah. I might be mixing up game systems in my head, but I think a 1 might be a failure even if you have a boon. I have too many games in my brain. Scotty, are you still watching? Let's see.
As long as the 4, yeah.
Yeah,
the
as long as
4
she's
is
got-
still there. I think you're fine. You make it to
as
the
long as
branch.
she's got a success, yeah.
All right.
And so you're standing on this branch now. It's huge. It's easily big enough to walk on, even were you human-sized. From your vantage point now, you look down on the woven cage and you can see its inhabitant. It's a wretched-looking creature, vaguely feminine with dark green skin. She sits holding her knees and has what appears to be a green cloak around her shoulders. She sees you as you look down at her, and she says, Are you here to torment me as well? Please have
Nah,
mercy.
sister, I'm breaking you out. And I will...
I think I skipped part of the description as
I'm
you
sorry.
got to the branch. But there is about there's about 15 feet of chain hanging between the branch and the cage. The cage is hanging from this chain from the branch. So you have to get down that in order to get to the cage.
Okay. Do you need me to roll for that?
Yeah.
Okay. How many feet of chain?
15 feet. It's a single roll to climb down.
Huh, that's weird. Same roll, 4 and a 1.
Okay. Well, you make it, and you can, with your proclivities, pick this lock.
All right. I did not take lock picking. Do you want me to roll for it?
Then you will not get a boon.
Okay. We'll pick. You said there was an opening in the top of the cage. Is it not big enough for this lady to get out of?
I didn't say that.
Because I was thinking I don't need to pick the lock. I just need to throw her down my rope.
No, I never said anything about an opening in the top of the cage. It's a woven cage.
I'm sorry, what was the lock? I missed a step there. I apologize.
There's a door. It's like a bird cage. There's a door that you have to open to get her out.
Okay. Okay, gotcha.
But you have to climb down a chain to get to the cage and then climb around to where the door is and pick the lock.
Okay, picking the lock. That's also a 4.
Okay.
This dice only rolls 4s. I didn't roll the dice that only gets 1s. Okay.
You successfully pick the lock. As soon as you do so, the cage door bursts open. This green woman spreads her arms, and you see that what you originally took for a cloak was in fact a pair of wings. And this screaming demon creature flies out of the cage and tears off down below, instantly destroys the pumpkin monster, and blasts the doors off their hinges. The giant below you stands up and tries to chase it out. You hear a as this creature is running. The two of you on top, you can barely tell what's happening. You're trying to watch through these little holes. Some sort of shrieking thing just flew through down there, and then you see the giant tearing off across the ground outside with all these brain flies following after it in a swarm. And the prisoner is released.
Be free, beautiful butterfly.
Did you see that, Gurgles? That was kind of ugly and demon-like.
Dresda was...
Are we certain we're supposed to let her out?
Well, you were told to. And then...
Is it a good idea, though?
With
God,
both...
she's got like 3 toes on one foot and 2 toes on the other?
With both the prisoner and the guards now absent from this structure, it begins to crumble and collapse.
Oh, geez.
Ooh.
I will ask each of you for a check. I will give you all a boon for this because you have a little time. But if anyone crit fails even with their boon, you're just going to straight up die in the collapse of this building.
Fair.
The 2 and a 4.
What is the number to hit?
Anything but a 1.
Double 4s.
If anybody gets double 1s, you're not coming back.
We all die.
Gurgle got 5 and a 1.
Okay.
And Hissing Fluff
No.
got double 5s.
All right, you guys all make it down just as this thing is collapsing. Gurgles, Firma, and Hissing Fluff, you make it down the side. Kate, you manage to scramble through these stinking corridors on the inside, which you didn't explore before, but they're pretty linear. There's ladders, there's ramps, there's staircases down. You're actually setting off traps as you go by, but they're not hitting you because they're designed for people coming from the other direction. So there's spears going, there's a deadfall, there's a pit trap, and they're all collapsing after you pass them. And then you make it out the front door. The whole thing comes down behind you like an action movie. And the entire realm, this entire dimension begins collapsing in on itself. You guys are forced back towards the portal that you came in through. You still can't see it, but you start to recognize the area. And eventually the place shrinks until it's just you and this little space. So you have no choice but to step through, and you all find yourselves back on the cliff.
All right.
The lady in blue is here again.
Oh, thank God we don't have to go back over the bridge.
No.
Lady in blue. Lovely.
She congratulates you all for completing your quest.
At exactly 11 o'clock.
Yeah, sorry, I got distracted. But she says,
all good.
the time is not right for me to confront our enemies directly. Were I to project my real form into this world, they would instantly be aware of my presence and could marshal all their forces for an attack. I am not yet prepared to answer. But I have no fear. I am already working on gathering my allies, the first of which you have just released. How good it is to say the name Dresda out loud without fear of discovery. Now that she is no longer in their power, her name can be spoken. Soon our gathered forces will be too great to resist, and then we shall strike and chase our enemies from reality itself. And on that day, my brave warrior allies, yours shall be the dominion of this world. And she reaches behind her and once again creates that breach in the air, exposing the wheel of destiny.
Yeah, let's roll. Let's spin the wheel of destiny.
Yeah.
No
Wheel of
whammies, no
Destiny,
whammies.
spin, spin, spin. Land on something really
Whammies.
cool for me.
All right. So here's the thing. I did not at all put any effort into adapting this table from the other game. But I'll just read it, and we'll see what happens to you guys. So anyone who wants to spin the wheel, you are able to choose not to. But if you spin the Wheel of Destiny, it will alter your personal timeline in history. And your character may be vastly different from the character you built at the end of the spin. So if you want to give it a spin, roll 1d20.
Kate will march right up.
3. Yes, I'll
Yep.
I'll roll after Kate, but yeah, I rolled a 3.
Oh no,
when the
you go
time
first.
comes.
No.
No.
Firma's not going first. Okay. So okay.
All
I'll
right.
run forward. Okay, pardon my language, but yeah.
Okay, Firma,
Oh,
roll
you're
a 3.
taller than me. You can reach over my head. I rolled a 10.
All right, I will do Firma first.
Yeah.
As you spin the wheel, Firma, history is rewritten. You, as it turns out, managed to ignore the summons of the Lady in Blue. You go back to your normal life as though you had never responded to these dreams or participated in this adventure.
Oh, so
Someone
I never
else.
met
You never met
Kate
Kate
or
or
Gurgles.
Gurgles. Someone
Oh,
else.
that makes me sad.
Someone else answered the call
Makes
in
me
your
sad, too.
place, and all of the things that you did were instead done by this other person. And you live out the rest of your life in your original mundane timeline with a deep sense of loss for some unknown missed opportunity.
Thanks.
Kate? Well, you know what, Mia? You never got to experience this the first time we ran this adventure.
No, I died.
You died 5 times, I think. Were you one of
Yeah.
the people who made an extra?
I think I ended up with that 5th character in the end. I'd have to look, but yeah.
So
Manuki.
Tall Kate rolled a 10. You have a minor change to your stars. This says you receive a permanent +1 to your luck score, which isn't a thing in EZD6. Yeah, I guess if you bring this character back, you, I don't know, I'll give you 3 extra karma points.
Yay!
You get a boon to something. It also go ahead and roll me 1d12.
Sorry, looking for a D12. This is the right one. That's going to be a 12.
Okay, and then please roll me any other dice and tell me if it's odd or even. Odd is negative, even is positive.
That is odd, so that's going to be negative.
Okay, this change is minus 12 months to your age. So you're slightly younger. You're a year younger, and there are minor physical changes. Your hair has changed colors, your eyes changed colors, slight height adjustment. Your stars have been rewritten.
You're taller now, Kate.
I'm taller now, and now my name is Short Kate.
Okay. Gurgles, are you spinning the wheel of destiny?
Nice.
Yeah, fuck it.
Let's see what happens to Gurgles.
16.
Okay, that's a good one. Or a high one, anyway. You have a major
that
change.
Pardon?
Major change to the character's stars. Okay, you receive a permanent +2 to luck. You reroll your birth hunker. Okay, this is all DCC specific stuff. Abilities, you'd be rerolling your ability score. So like all the stuff you're good at changes, basically. Also, your identity changes significantly. You're gonna age plus or minus 1d4 years. You're from a new family, a new city, maybe even a new country, and you can have major physical changes up to and including a possible change to your race. You might even have a new name.
Yeah,
Close
no, I
enough.
can totally see like Gurgles like his stars change and he's no longer a corvid goblin. He's some other bird-related, like, species variant.
And when you turn to look at Hissing Fluff, he's now a giant war chicken.
Okay, I'm down.
How
That's
giant?
basically-
Like,
Same size
It's
as
like
before.
a toothless T-Rex.
He's the same size as before, but instead of scales, it's feathers.
No, it was feathers already.
Oh, of course, because new dinosaurs have feathers. Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm still from 1981.
No, I am super into my new dinosaur bullshit, and I love it, and it's amazing.
Awesome. Well, this is a giant chicken now. So I guess all that really happened is the little arms turned into wings that don't work.
I mean, they were
Yeah.
already like proto wings, but
So Tall Kate, Gurgles It Bobbles, if indeed that is still your name, and Billy the Squid, who is here instead of Firma, you are all left alone on this cliff as the Lady in Blue leaves you to your new fate. And Firma, you're off somewhere wondering why you just feel a little lost.
Yeah.
That's kind of
So
a
sad.
bummer. That's a kind of a bummer of a role, honestly.
yeah, that is genuine. Like that feels like what if you're not enjoying your character, that's great. Like if they just didn't really click with you,
Yeah.
but otherwise, if you like them, oh no, no.
Well, you know,
the
what,
wheel
I
of
am.
fate. It's
I am
cruel.
gonna tack on to that, since we are playing this in a completely different game system with a whole different philosophy, that at some point Firma will have another chance to find herself.
Oh,
Yes. But yeah. Well, thanks guys for playing my crazy experimental mashup game here.
It was very
thank
nicely
you
done.
for running it.
Yes,
Like,
thank you. This was a lot of
I-
fun.
Yeah, like I said in the Discord earlier, I was very excited for this, and I'm really happy I stayed awake the whole time.
Yes, I appreciate you doing that, and you
No,
as well, Mia.
It
I know
wasn't,
it's
you know, I
later for you.
slept so bad last night.
Oh yeah, I
Like-
understood what you meant. Yeah.
Yeah, like, but no, I was excited to do this. I was honestly, I'm kind of sad I didn't have the creativity or just the whatever to actually pull off what I wanted to do with Gurgles, which is more of like, I kind of envision him as actually talking kind of like the Predator.
Ah.
Like he doesn't like he has his natural Corvid language, but when he talks to people in like common language, I don't know what that is, but
I'll show you.
that's the thing.
That's
Oh,
the
cool.
thing.
Yeah.
It's a side.
I was gonna wait. I was gonna wait for you to finish talking and then explain what this is.
Yeah, but like when he talks to people in like the common tongue, he's actually like it's pulling from that studied mimic aspect, and it's just all like mimicked words he's heard before. So he's speaking with like, you know, however many different people's voices, but I just there was no way I was going to pull that off tonight. So
Yeah.
but yeah, tell
so
us about this.
yeah, so this is what I was. This is what had you guys standing at the doorway for so long, is that, well, you were only going under the door one at a time, and only two of you did it, and neither of you said that you were looking very specifically for a secret entrance or for a place to hide from the pumpkin monster.
Yeah.
Both of you, your only move was get the heck back out. And it's actually very easy to find the little secret door. You just have to say that you're looking for a place to be. And Firma said it, but wasn't inside. Firma said, can we run inside and look for a place to take cover? And I was like, yes, please do so. And then you didn't. But
It was a
yeah,
suggestion.
yeah, you just run over there and then you're in these hallways, and the mutants that you meet are actually supposed to be inside the walls, and there's all these traps, and there's a ladder, and there's nothing in this adventure book about climbing up the outside, but you guys were just like, we're not going back in there. So I was like, all right, the mutants live outside now. But yeah, there's all this stuff. There's like a little room with treasure that you didn't get to. There's a skeleton in it. And yeah, this is the cage hanging. Well done.
Kate had used her treasure sense on the way down.
Yeah, well, she might have. She might have found that, but of course she was pressed for time. Yeah, so last time, Matt Groves' last character, Sargento the Cheesemaker, made it to the cage, got the cage open, and fell off. And so he was the last one to die. Nobody got to spin the wheel. But like I said, later I was playing D&D with Matt Groves, and it was actually his first time in a D&D campaign as a player, because he'd had the hardest time finding a gaming group. And his character died in like the third session. And he was so heartbroken. And I was like, you know what? You find yourself back on that cliff with the lady in blue, and you've spun the wheel of fate, and your character... So what we did was we made it so that his elven paladin character in D&D was Sargento with the stars rewritten, and that's how he came back.
Yeah.
It doesn't exactly make sense, but it worked for us.
Oh, it's a good time.
It doesn't have to make sense. It has to be fun.
Yeah, so anyway, yeah, this adventure is written by Brendan J. LaSalle. I love it. And this is actually the first time in my entire GMing career that I have run the same scenario a second time. I've never done that before, and it's only because I thought this one was just so cool. And also partly because when Scotty was on and ran this game for us, his adventure was so weird and creative that I just my brain just wasn't firing the past couple weeks. And I was like, I can't come up with something that cool. Because Scotty was supposed to be in this game. So I was like, instead of coming up with something that cool, I'm going to remember something that cool that I already did. So I'm going to...
Yes.
That's why we played this one. But yeah, it's pretty fun. I think it worked well, even in a different system.
Yeah. Like, I vaguely remember some of this like original adventure when it was like the Dungeon Crawl Classics.
Yeah, I think you were watching.
I was watching, and I think I was playing like something on Steam and like listening.
Yeah. I asked Mia if she remembered it, and she's like, "Yeah, I remember a lot of it." And I was like, Dad, I'll have to find something else. She's like, "No, you don't have to do that." It's like, all right, fine, let's do it.
Not at all.
Yeah, I mean, Sarah and I could bumble along, and
yeah. Did you remember the tunnels inside? Because if you did,
I used to say I remember something about getting inside and then dealing with the folks indoors and the whole like Sargento falling and all that, and the beast waking up and yeah.
Yeah, so I was gonna say if you did remember that there was another passage inside there, like just top tier separation of player knowledge and character knowledge right there. Because at no point did you say, guys, maybe there's a tunnel inside.
Yeah, right. Let's run inside and find a place to hide. That was my only suggestion.
If only you had been looking under the door when you said it, this whole thing would have gone differently.
Well, I don't want to get my clothes dirty crawling across the ground.
Yeah. But yeah, regardless of all that, great job, guys. I hope you had fun. I had a lot of fun running it. Thank you, Scotty, for creating this game.
So much fun.
We'll see you next time. Oh, what's next week?
What's next?
Over the wall
Labor
or
Day.
beyond?
Oh, Beyond the Wall. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was trying to see. I thought I had the PDF for that, so I'm trying to get that together.
Okay. Well, if you don't have it, I can send you that.
Okay.
I believe last time we played Beyond the Wall, it was Sarah, Jason, Cody, and Cody's friend Jeff. But yeah, that was a.
Brooks?
Yeah, you did that one.
No, I was no. I remember. I remember my character. Yes, I remember now.
Yeah,
Okay.
Jeff. That's the only time we've played with Jeff. But
Yeah.
he was cool. I hope he comes back.
Yeah.
Yeah. So cool. That's it. Thanks, guys. Next week, be on the wall. Also, if anyone is still watching, this Sunday, September 4th, 2022, we are streaming 2 episodes of 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons. They will be episode 99 and 100 of our campaign. I say our. Nobody else currently on screen with me is in that game, but there are 4 other people who have played 98 episodes of it and are very much looking forward to finishing. So we will see you guys then. And if you are just so bummed that it's on Sunday, we will be rerunning those episodes on the following 2 Fridays as well. So thank you, everyone, and good night.
Night.
Good night.
Bye.